bad for a librarian. Perhaps you should have spent more time in the pit.
And perhaps you should have spent more time in the library.
For 40 years, Optimus and Megatron have been an iconic duo.
Megatron, you've got to transform.
Sometimes they're enemies, sometimes they're friends, and sometimes they're animals. But most importantly, they're hilarious.
Get Optimus, transform!
Oh, Optimus, you and your fancy little gadgets. What the? What's wrong? I thought you wanted to have a little chit-chat, Prime.
I do, but only when you calm down.
Nice try, but it's not going to work.
Can you really imagine these two being the same without each other?
Time to find out.
Okay, I guess so. Over these years, they've had so many designs, and yeah, you bet I ranked every single one.
Consider me impressed. Do not believe everything you read.
Now, because this is a compilation of my singular videos, I'm going to showcase all of the tier names one by one. So let's start off with Optimus and Megatron's first tier, and it of course had to be...
Until that day, till all are one.
All hail Megatron.
And now for their second tiers...
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. I would have waited an eternity for this.
I would have waited an eternity for this.
And now for their middle tiers.
I remember the time on Cybertron. Save the war stories, hotshot. Just remember, there's a thin line between being a hero and being a memory.
Reroute all power to forward guns and thrusters. Full speed ahead. But sir, that's suicide. Any further objections?
And now for their fourth tiers.
Optimus, you want to see something funny?
No.
Ultra Magnus, here? No, merely a cheap imitation.
And now finally, for their worst tiers...
We will kill them all.
This is where Bayverse comes in.
No! Such heroic nonsense. Disgusting.
Now let's start off where it all began with the 1984 toy. Thank God Hasbro imported this from the Diaclone line and made it the heroic Autobot leader that we all know today. And they didn't even know that they were making history. And I'm so thrilled that 40 years later, this toy has come back with the Missing Link line. I own it in its cartoon colours, and yes, the posability was limited back in 1984, but still, regardless, 40 years later, we've got that posability, and the figure is still as cool as it was back then. Like most G1 toys that were translated for the cartoon, some of them were radically changed, but Optimus Prime is pretty much all there, except for the eye colour and a few sticker details. But the cartoon, to me, it is the definitive Optimus Prime. And the same can be said for the Marvel Comics. We need more Primes like him playing basketball. I didn't think this design would look so badass though with Megatron's arm cannon on it. I'm only going to include it because I'm really enjoying the comics so far. Now I just want to say this now before we move forward, I am a big fan of Blue Eyes Optimus Prime. I do like yellow eyes on certain designs, but not always, and I think with G1, blue is superior. But what isn't superior is the Ghostbusters Optimus Prime. He looks like he's sick. But I guess it's 10 times better than the abomination of Alligator Optimus Prime.
This alligator is big and heavy!
From the looks of it, I'd say a little of both.
But is it as traumatic as seeing G1 Optimus with a mouth?
Yes.
G1 Prime will never look good with a mouth.
How am I supposed to eat without a mouth?
G1 Prime has received 3 great masterpiece toys, but for me personally, I actually prefer the third-party Magic Square toy.
Let him in.
But...
He's obviously a Decepticon imposter.
You can't get more cartoon accurate than that. In 1998, with Hasbro realizing their mistake in killing off Optimus Prime, they brought him back with a brand new body, the Power Master, which I don't like. He's as bulk as Bulkhead. Don't get me wrong, I do like Prime with a little bit of a chunk, But for me, this isn't it. It was too little, too late. But at least this design got some justice with the Transformers Generations leader Power Master Optimus Prime for the Titan's return. While still not my favourite, it's a step up for sure. But we've got to step down again for the Action Master Optimus Prime. Dude looks like he's cosplaying.
You were told to stay hidden.
In 1991, the Japanese continuity decided to bring Prime back once again with the return of Convoy, and this looks 10 times better than the Power Master. Yes, the toy is still kind of less to be desired, but the artwork is phenomenal. I really like how this looks, and you can see the inspiration of Transformers Animated with its headlights. Now let's move on to Megatron.
I, Megatron, declare this facility Decepticon domain.
We have his classic toy box art here, and I gotta say, I absolutely love this design and the original toy. Yes, I know it looks like Megatron took too many Viagra pills, but still, it's a classic toy, it's unique to the 80s. Nothing screams more of a big baddie than a giant pistol.
Decepticons, attack! What?
Now I might be in the minority here, but I really do dig the barbed wire pattern on his chest. I would like to see more of it. Now let's talk about the G1 cartoon Megatron. I think they made some good changes compared to the toy box art. You know, there were just some things that didn't need to be there. It's a true revision, they managed to get rid of all the excessive detail. Now I know they got rid of a barbed wire pattern that a lot of fans do like, but I think the 3 marks on each side of the chest has become more of a staple to the Megatron design. Yes, he's still a buckethead, but at least it's 10 times better than before.
What do I miss most about my youth? My boyish good looks. Such a square jaw. What a handsome devil I was back then.
Now before this final design was approved, we do have an early version which did make its way into some toy commercials and comic books. His head is a bit more generic looking and isn't really menacing. You know, he's got yellow eyes, and I just don't think it really works as your big baddie, and I'm glad that they kept the head from the toy box art because that's one of the most menacing things about it, is this bucket head. Now as for the toy box art, I would have waited an eternity to just get my hands on it. G1 cartoon Megatron definitely belongs in All Hail. As for the early head design, it's merely a cheap imitation. Now G1 Megatron has had so many different toys over 40 years, but I want to pick 2 that stood out to me the most. And well, we have the original Masterpiece Megatron, which I think just goes to show how far we've come in engineering, because at the time that was the most accurate Megatron you could get to the original G1 cartoon. But if we look at the masterpieces that are being made today, just a huge difference in engineering and accuracy. Now I don't want to knock the original, both of these masterpieces have their charm. But by God, look at those legs, they're just way too skinny and they look way too delicate. They look like they could break. I still like it, even though I know a lot of people prefer the new version, so... any further objections?
I wouldn't if I were you.
But regardless, at the time, it was a triumph. But what wasn't a triumph was his little mini counterpart. It's just a little mini gun. I picked him out because he looked dorky.
Know what? You're even uglier from this angle.
Oh, and we also have the absolute abomination that is Mega Ratchet.
What is this abomination? And why have you brought it here?
Yeah, this was... I'm still shocked to this day that this was an idea that they thought would be entertaining for young children. And that's not even the worst thing in the comics. Megatron once defeated Grimlock and put his head on his hand as a trophy. Dude thinks he's a gangster.
Hardly my nature.
The Ratchet and Megatron abomination can also go in disgusting, and Megatron using Grimlock as a trophy? That's also disgusting. I would say merely cheap imitation because he's trying to be cool and he's not, so I'm going to put him there actually. Now let's talk about the beast that is the return of Convoy Megatron. He is absolutely loaded, he is packed, he is ready to go to war. This would inspire so many future Megatron designs. I absolutely love both the vehicle mode and also the robot mode. It's an absolute arsenal. And you know, it is a little bit overloaded, but I can't get over how badass he looks. I would wait an eternity for it. Now filming for these videos is no easy task, so thank God I have Optimus Prime as a camera. Yeah, you thought I was going to do a sponsor then, didn't you? If it doesn't function as a camera, then what's the point? The reflectors are looking pretty good right about now. Anything's better than the Mickey Mouse Optimus Prime.
It's impossible.
Moving on to Generation 2, and in a radical design change, I think both of these designs are really cool. I'm not a fan of Laser Optimus Prime having his name on his windows, and as for Hero Optimus Prime, well, at least he can rap.
It's heavy metal cruncher time as Optimus Prime goes toe-to-toe with combat Megatron. Prime is one tough dude underneath his hood. He's a transformer missile fire phenomenon. Combat.
For the last of Generation 2, we have the GoBot Optimus Prime, and then we have Laser Optimus Prime. A great homage to that G2 design, but as for the GoBot...
Chuck! That's what you are! Chuck!
Next up we've got Generation 2 Megatron, which was a part of a G.I. Joe crossover, and he is now a tank instead of a gun. This was of course due to regulations at the time, where you could no longer have a toy for a gun. So Megatron had to beef himself up a bit. And you know what? It's a good alternative. It worked out for the better. I would wait an eternity to get my hand on that original toy. Now Beast Wars Shattered Glass had this design of Megatron in all purple, and yes, I do like this all purple design, but you know what? There's something really nostalgia and really eye-popping about that green and purple design. Regardless, I still like the purple, so any further objections? Also during Generation 2, we have a little GoBot Megatron. I imagine that this only exists to save the trademark. You did your duty, little man. Such heroic nonsense. Now something else quite bizarre is an unreleased Generation 2 Megatron. Yeah, this is wild. We actually have a render of artwork as well from it. It's a stealth bomber, which, you know, kind of plays in his future a little bit, which is nice, but everything else is just, wow, it's just way too loud. It's definitely not Megatron. Yeah, and we got Starscream right next to him in this image as well. Starscream looks kind of alright, you know, but as for this Megatron, he looks like a big bozo. Merely a cheap imitation. Next up we've got Machine Wars Megatron, and I gotta give props to the artist DC Josh. I love his artwork, he's amazing, and he is able to make even the shittest toys look so badass and cool. This looks like Megatron in his sort of youth a little bit, and for that I kinda like it, but unfortunately the toy is just a bit boring, isn't it? It's not really anything exciting. I've got to really give props to the artwork here that managed to make this boring toy look actually kind of cool. It's like a little mini origin story for Megatron in a way. You know, once he was a plane, he was a jet. But is he really Megatron? I'd say merely a cheap imitation. Sadly the artwork couldn't save him. Now let's talk about Beast Wars Optimus Prime. Before they radically changed it to the Beast Wars that we all know today, the Optimus Prime that we knew in Generation 1 was going to evolve into a bat. I'm torn on this because the artwork is so much better than the toy. I do like it, but just not as Prime. They tried to make it work with its traditional colour scheme, but it looks gross. I think the artwork saved his life. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Crocodile Megatron. I just can't imagine G1 Megatron approving of this crocodile form. Maybe it's a bad joke on Starscream's part, but yeah, no, this, I'm so glad they went into a different direction. Now let's move on to 2001's Robots in Disguise cartoon, where we have Optimus Prime as a fire truck. When I was younger, I was quite dismissive of this series, but it's slowly become one of my favourites and truly an underrated gem. And the same can be said for Optimus Prime's design. While he looks fine by himself, there's no denying that he looks 10 times better in his super modes. First we have Combat Mode, which just beefs him up, and then we have the Omega Mode, where he's combined with Ultra Magnus. Out of all of these designs, I much prefer his Combat Mode.
Ruination!
Despite never owning the original toy, I'm fully aware of how fun this thing is to play with. All the more reason why I was so excited that it was backed up through the HasLab Legacy line. From 2001 to being released in 2025, this Optimus Prime has come a long way. What really adds to this is the great voice performance by Neil Kaplan. Such an underrated voice for Optimus Prime.
Cobalt ocean riles. Zephyrs blow cold and another hapless foe is crushed beneath my heel. It's a vision of the future, the very near future.
You might do better with limericks.
Huh?
Your imagery is derivative. It lacks semiotic cohesion. And the hapless foe is you.
If you haven't already, give Robots in Disguise a chance. It's actually pretty good. What's not pretty good though is the universe version. Dude just looks like a lemon. Now let's look at 2001 Megatron from Robots in Disguise. This dude has 6 different modes. Yeah, this guy is extreme, he is an absolute beast. And I once owned this toy as a little kid as well. You know, I don't really see it so much as Megatron, it's more obviously Beast Wars like Megatron. But for the show, for what the continuity was in that own show, it's nice, it's cool, but you know, it doesn't really have the Robots in Disguise element, does it?
What curves, honey, you are really put together. Wanna go cruising? Playing hard to get, eh? Oh man, what a downer.
I still like the design to an extent. I know a lot of people don't, so I don't know. Any further objections?
I can't believe I trusted you, Skylight! You made me look like an idiot! It's terrible! People are laughing at me!
The next series, Armada, would pay homage to the RID design as Optimus Prime's Cybertronian mode. It's a shame we never saw his alternate mode, but I can't imagine there being one. Moving on to his Earth mode, and what a fresh incarnation for the character. It is so different, but so recognizable as Prime. I love how the grill is integrated on the chest, and the smokestacks on his arms are just iconic. I adore the anime look, but I'm also a big fan of this design in the PS2 game. Those animated cutscenes were ahead of their time. Not ahead of their time is the brick to roll Optimus. Yeah, he's gonna die. Now let's talk about his super mode, which is just awesome. Yes, it's weird his feet transform into his second pair of hands, but still, it's so goddamn cool. And I'm so glad that in 2024, this toy came back. And that's how I like to display him. And yes, it kinda bugs me that his eye colour isn't red, but I'm sure I'll paint it at some point.
Humans.
His super mode comes with various add-ons, with Overload providing his shoulder cannons, which is, lackluster to say the least.
I demand satisfaction.
I wish I could accommodate you.
But the best one is without a doubt his combination with Jetfire. I seriously hope we get a Legacy Armada Jetfire. I mean, there's hints that it's coming due to Optimus Prime's chest. Please, Hasbro, I beg. At the very end of the series, Optimus got an updated colour scheme called Power Links. While I do like the colours, as I once owned the toy, I do remember being annoyed that his colours changed last minute.
Don't act surprised. This is exactly what you wanted.
But I'd rather have this than Big Footimus Optimus Prime. This is an early design idea where he would have transformed into a monster truck. Guy's just jacked up to the max. It's not the worst, but I'm so happy with what we ended up with. Now let's talk about Armada Megatron, and this is just brilliant. I love this design. Yes, I grew up with it, so I am attached to it, but it doesn't stop it from being so awesome.
Transform and combine!
It's a great, unique design that really does do something drastically different while still capturing the sort of character of Megatron. Like, the toy had so many play features, I just played with that tank mode all the time. Like, I love the colour palette. They took Generation 2 Megatron and just made it work with this design. Now, yes, I know he's a little bit of a flathead.
So why don't you share your little joke with everyone?
I wasn't laughing, sir. Flathead. Boy, I can really dish it out.
You are a freak.
And even today, 20 years on, we're still getting brand new figures of this Megatron. I own it and I love it. It's absolutely amazing. What I don't consider amazing is the Combiner Wars mix between Generation 1 Megatron and Armada. This just didn't work. The toy was not really well received at all. This was merely a cheap imitation of the original. I don't really love his Cybertronian mode so much, even though it's like the first design that we actually see. It's just a bit boring in it. I really love creative Cybertronian modes, and this one isn't really that creative.
What a weakling.
Now, as for the original Megatron and Tidal Wave, of course in the cartoon we saw Megatron with the purple Tidal Wave, but I really wanted to see the original colours of Tidal Wave on that Megatron in the show. Now, we did get Tidal Wave in his original colours in the video game, but sadly he never combined with Megatron. Heck, we're getting a brand new Tidal Wave toy, so now I'll be able to have the best of both worlds. I loved it every time in the show when he powered up. Megatron was ready for action.
Ha ha ha! The power is mine!
Moving on to the sequel series, Energon, Optimus Prime, puts on a few pounds. Yeah, he's just a block.
Anyone else?
Well, at least the built to rule was on point this time. The proportions just went out of the window here. Of course, this is all for the Power Link mode, but even that doesn't save this design. He broke all the rules when it comes to making a consistent colour scheme.
Nobody told me about any ridiculous rules.
Yeah, Prime, you're going in the no tier.
If you want to ignore my orders, then I have no choice but to send you back to your mother.
You wouldn't!
Try me.
I gotta admit, his combined mode with Omega Supreme is 10 times better.
Was that ever in doubt?
Mostly because it's just Omega Supreme with Optimus's head.
There's more where that came from.
Yeah, we catch your drift, Optimus, sir.
It feels like he's doing everything to make up for his first super mode with these other modes like the Wing Saber one, which you can have in 2 different ways, and I still couldn't tell you which one I prefer. I'm just glad that the colour scheme is better. This is probably what he should have started off with. Alright, now let's talk about Energon Megatron. Now I've had a change of heart over the years over this design. While I still think it's basically Galvatron, it's still not that bad of a design.
You changed your mind, sir? Why are you letting him go?
Because he was getting on my nerves.
Granted, the colours at times for me are still a hit or miss. You know, sometimes I'll watch it in the show and I just think it looks ugly, and then I'll look at it as a toy or artwork and I think it looks really good. And I think the Energon toy has a lot of playability to it. Like, you look at it and it's got a lot of great mechanics. And even today in Legacy, he's getting a mini version of it, which I guess is sort of an insult in a way. I feel like he deserves an upscale at least. But regardless, there is still some love there for that Energon Megatron. I guess it's just the animation in this show that really does this design dirty. Like when the show briefly dipped in cell animation, it made this design look absolutely amazing, but in 3D animation, I don't know, it just really makes him look ugly.
How dare you! Oh, please.
But when you see it in the toys and the Dreamwave comics, it really doesn't look all that bad. I know, I feel like some of you are going to come at me in the comments, so any further objections?
Hope you don't mind if I butt in.
Where the heck did the heat come from?
Talking flying fire engine?
Moving on to the final entry of the Unicron Trilogy, we have Cybertron Optimus, and his super mode makes up for that terrible power links of Energon. And it's such a great toy. I remember playing with this so much as a kid, both his basic mode and his super mode. I just called him a very robust fire engine. Wing Saber returns in Cybertron to give Optimus Prime another power mode, the Sonic Wing mode, which, yeah, it looks cool, but I much prefer his regular super mode. And when it comes to his third combined form with Leo Breaker, dude just puts on a glove. This adds nothing to the design. I'm not going to count someone using the whole body as a fist as a brand new design.
What? No! Blast it, he played me like a piano!
Alright, now we have Cybertron Megatron, or as I like to call him, Goth Megatron. It's like a midlife crisis. He's trying his best to be really, really cool. Now he is a triple changer, but it's basically just a jet car. But it's an extreme Tim Burton Batman style. And he's got incredible horns. I mean, they're not as big as, obviously, Armada Megatron, but still, the colour palette is insane. Like, it's loud and it's all over the place. I've always been conflicted with this design because, I don't know, just out of the Unicron Trilogy, it's just not the best.
Such feeble blows are a mere annoyance to me.
They are blocking us.
What?
But regardless, there is still this sort of like soft spot for it because playability wise and vehicle mode, it looks absolutely badass and cool. And I know a lot of people really dig this design, so I don't really want to shit on it because I don't want to shit on it because I do think it is a good design. I just wish the colors were different. Like the Galvatron colors suit better for the Megatron name. So, I don't know, I guess it can go next to Energon Megatron. Any further objections? Now moving on to TransTech, a cancelled series that was supposed to be a follow-up to the Beast Machines franchise. Despite the proportions and the style being insanely bizarre, it is somewhat appealing. Whether or not they could have pulled this off when it comes to animation is another story. I can understand why this was scrapped because Hasbro really needed to focus on car robots. I do like the vehicle modes, very similar to the High Moon games. Whether or not he was going to be Optimus Prime or Optimus Primal is unknown, but if so, he would have been our first monkey truck.
Well, that's just Prime.
Moving on to the Megatron design, the head is definitely a miss, does not resemble Megatron at all, but I do like everything else about it. I actually think it's got a lot of promise, but sadly we never saw it fully realized. It's like the blueprint for Armada Megatron. I would have waited an eternity just to get a better head. No, I can't do that. It's not complete, is it? I have to put it in any further objections because I might like it, but I know probably a lot of you don't. Okay, now let's talk about a couple of Optimus Primes based on real cars. We have the Alternity Nissan with a GTR version with a bunch of advertising on it, and then we have a Toyota Prime. None of these are really ideal, but I will say I do kind of like the Alternity Optimus Prime just a little bit, but it's just not Optimus Prime to me. definitely not Optimus Prime, is the Alternators, also known as the Kiss Players Optimus Prime. I remember as a kid my buddy Lewis owning this, and I just wish we knew how cursed it was.
I'll kill you! Stay back!
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Next up, we've got Transformers Universe Megatron, and we've got two different colour schemes. We've got Generation 1 and G2, and I think both go hand in hand with each other. I really like it, they're both really cool. I like the tank mode. The kind of vibes I'm getting is Megatron when he's young, like sort of in his prime. Yeah, I think these two go side by side with each other. I would wait an eternity for them. Now let's talk about Classics Megatron, and if this doesn't scream midlife crisis, then I don't know what does. This is like G1 Megatron, and he's just like, he has to keep up with the times, so he's trying his best to look like a Nerf gun. You know, actually the gun itself doesn't actually look that bad. I actually think it's really cool, and I like how it sort of becomes like a cape. You know, it actually is pretty interesting and unique of a design. It's kind of giving me like, it's probably what Cybertron should have been, the Megatron Cybertron, except the gun part, you know, just get rid of the gun part, but I do like how it sort of transforms. It's actually kind of a unique take on it. So yeah, I bet a lot of kids actually had a lot of fun playing with this. I would have waited an eternity for this, I think. Next up we have Transformers Cloud Megatron, and I gotta say, I actually really dig this redeco. You know, this was originally Bludgeon, and somehow it's able to work as Megatron. I think this is really cool. It's actually not a bad design at all. I would have waited an eternity for this. Now some of you might not know about this one, but we have the GTR Megatron with his girl partner. Yeah, I don't understand that, but his face design is the only thing unique about it. Everything is just with logos slapped all over the place. He's basically just a giant promotion. I dig the head. It's very youthful Megatron, but it's not really Megatron, is it? It's merely a cheap imitation. Now we have Alternative Megatron, drastically different from what we're used to, and you know what? I actually kind of dig this. I like the blue. I think it really blends in with the purple really well. And his vehicle mode, well, it's just a cute car, but the badass robot mode. I really love the samurai vibes going off here. I know some of you probably aren't going to like it, but I like it, so any further objections? Now let's talk about Transformers Animated, and I absolutely love this Optimus Prime. First I'll talk about his Cybertronian mode, which I absolutely adore. I was obsessed with Transformers Cybertronian modes because of this design. The art style of Derek J. White is what brought me back to the Transformers, and I absolutely adored both my Deluxe and Voyager class of Optimus Prime. And the design is as clean as it comes, there is nothing overly complicated, you know this is Prime. And I like the fact he's a fire engine, it works in the show and just pays good homage to Robots in Disguise. There is nothing to mess around with this design, it's just perfect as it is, which is why the movie-inspired look for Season 4 looks so dumb. This wasn't actually going to happen, it was just a brainstorm idea, but still, don't put flames on this Prime. Thankfully that was never official, but what was official was the Wingblade Optimus Prime. His little upgrade in the final season of the show definitely showcases the evolution of his character. God, it was so satisfying when he finally wielded the Magnus Hammer. Now if Season 4 of the show would have gone ahead, we would have had an upgraded Power Master Optimus Prime, which we can see in the EarthSpark Almanac, which we got to see in action in TF Nation's Trial of Megatron. We have a second Power Master, which more closely resembles Derek J. Wyatt's concepts, which was fully realised by Eric Siebeniller. To be honest, it's really hard to choose which one I prefer. I just like both. As mentioned, I'm not a big fan of the Power Master Optimus Prime, but Animated here stylized it and made it better. Animated Optimus Prime was celebrated in the Legacy with a brand new Voyager toy, which, had mixed results.
Anyway, it's not important.
Nothing can top and beat the original, it's just superior. But this, you know, going for a G1 inspired look, yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that Animated's getting some attention, to be honest. Oh, and there was that time he turned into a human.
By the EarthSpark.
How can you not like this? It's basically his voice actor, David Kaye. Now let's talk about one of my personal favourite Megatrons of all time, Transformers Animated. Let's start off with his Cybertronian mode. It takes the 2007 movie design and really just cleans it up and gives it more of a G1 kind of look. I imagine the studio told Derek J. White to sort of base it on the 2007 design just because they were releasing around the same time. I actually love the Deluxe class, really good toy, I used to play with it all the time. It's a badass Cybertronian mode, and his first scene in the show was absolutely menacing.
Battle it out here and now, let's just keep it down!
No one mocks the word of Megatron! He's just standing there, menacingly!
But his Earth mode is truly where it's at, such a great revision, a massive upgrade from his original Generation 1 counterpart. This guy is ready for action. I just love the resemblance to G1 while being something strikingly different, like him being a helicopter as well. I've always wanted Megatron to be more like a helicopter, and we're finally getting that in EarthSpark, so it's good that harkened back to Transformers Animated because it's really an underrated design. It's such a badass, menacing design as well, especially with that voice by Corey Burton.
Bow before Megatron. Now that I am Lord of Cybertron, I return to Earth to exterminate organics once and for all.
I'll put his Cybertronian mode in the second tier, and as for the Earth mode, it obviously belongs in All Hail Megatron. Now if Season 4 of Transformers Animated wasn't cancelled, Megatron was going to get a huge upgrade for Marauder Megatron, which takes inspiration from the Beast Machines Megatron, and also the return of Convoy Megatron.
What?
Now we were so close to getting a toy of it. We have prototype images from the official AllSpark Almanac book. They are colorized by Mooney Looney, and I gotta say, we were absolutely robbed. I would have loved to have seen this both in the show and in toy. I just hope that it somehow gets revived in the future. Wow, this is incredible. Now there are different variations of the Earth mode Megatron design. We have the Shadow Blade, which is...
It's quite temporary, I assure you.
Basically like a Galvatron Megatron. It looks cool. I really tried my best to avoid this toy as a kid. I really wanted the original. But regardless, it's still got good artwork. It's alright. Any further objections? One thing I don't pay much attention to is the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. I'll go for any design that has this color scheme on it because it's just an evil Optimus Prime.
Deception Prime. Consider me impressed.
I guess the same applies for a Nemesis Prime, which may or may not get its own tier.
Optimus Prime, I know you're not evil.
You are nothing!
I feel the same for Megatron as well. It's the standard Megatron Shattered Glass colours. And while we're on the subject, we'll talk about that original Shattered Glass Megatron. It's basically the Energon mold, but with these like heroic colours, which, you know, that's alright. It's slightly better than the actual Energon colours. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Shattered Glass series, but I know a lot of fans do like it, so I guess I'll just put these in the middle because I know you'll object to it if I put them even lower. Making the way onto the tier are the Mighty Mugs. Oh, look at the little dude, he thinks he's so tough. I like this one more because he has ears. Pulling more out of my ass are the Transformers Q Optimus Primes. I don't like the blocky one. Please don't shove these in your ass.
It is a bad idea.
Definitely not ass is the War Within Optimus Prime, the first real Cybertronian Optimus Prime. The entire chest area is just beautiful. Hasbro, Studio Series Comic Edition when? Getting deeper into the comics, we have the Chaos Theory Optimus Prime. Any Prime with smokestacks on his arms is pretty much a win at this point. I'm so glad that it finally got a toy in the Legacy United Fractured Friendship 2-pack. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Moving on to Hearts of Steel, and I gotta say there are some better Hearts of Steel designs, but this one is still good. I like it. I mean, it's Optimus Prime as a train. If you're a fan of trains, good, this is for you. What might not be for you are the G.I. Joe designs of Optimus Prime. I mean, I'm not a fan of these personally, they just don't do anything for me. They look really bland and boring looking. But I do actually like this third one. I believe it's based on the Hiss tank. Kinda reminds me of Beast Hunters / the TransTech Optimus Prime. It just needs an Autobot insignia. Well played, G.I. Joe. Well played. Also well played are the main IDW designs for Optimus Prime. The detail on these designs are just insane. I'm really surprised Hasbro hasn't made toys of these already. Now we have a Double Pretender, which was cancelled but was brought back by the Collectors Club, and I do like the Optimus Prime. It reminds me of a young Armada. Yeah, I've just given the Pretenders a compliment. Had to happen eventually. Now let's talk about the comics, and first up we have the War Within Megatron. Now I do like this design. It is very bulky, but I love how armoured up he is. I don't care so much for the tank mode, if that's even supposed to be a tank, it just looks really daft and pathetic. But the chest detail with that big sort of circle on his chest, it's a more traditional G1 Cybertronian mode, and you know what, it really does work. Another thing that really works is the Hearts of Steel Megatron. We've got two versions here. We've got one of him as a pistol, and then we've got one as a cannon. And I love the cannon way more than the pistol. I love how gigantic those wheels are on his shoulders. The cannon is just absolutely badass. It's so menacing. But as for the pistol Megatron, it's just harkening back to the original G1 gun. And you know what? If you like pistols, there you go. Now, we've had various Megatron backstories, but the one that I really like the most is Megatron being an Energon miner. You know, him kind of rising up from the caste system that he was assigned to. And you know what? This is a pretty cool take. We've got a recent figure of it as well, based on the War for Cybertron Trilogy Megatron. And the colours look really good. It really works for a sort of origin story of Megatron. It's Megatron with an axe, and he looks badass. Now let's talk about the Robots in Disguise Megatron, a more beefy version of the G1 Megatron. You know, he's got a lot of extra added parts around his shoulder pads area, and we've also got a lot of good chest details as well. Of course, very similar, but just tuned up for a modern comic. But now for something that's drastically different, it's the Transformers Generations Bomber Megatron. This is absolutely amazing. I'm glad that we got a Generations toy. You know, this is a unique take, you know, all black with the menace in purple. It's just a unique design. Like, it took that original G2 unused concept bomber design and actually made it work for Megatron. Now this is Megatron. I know fans usually associate this design with more of a Galvatron kind of vibe, but I think it works here. It's got a giant ass cannon. You know, I hope we get an updated figure of this design because it's just so cool. The lining details on the chest, like, it's so Megatron and so different, and I think that's the best thing about the character, is that as long as it's got that unique Megatron spirit, it can work. And if you thought that was impressive, in the IDW comics, they made him into an absolute unit. Like, this is him taking on a god. But he looks like a god himself. You don't want to mess with this Megatron for sure.
For I am the rising darkness of which the prophecy speaks.
Damn, they just really went all out. Now let's talk about Autobot Megatron. I really like this rendition of the G1 Megatron. You know, they really just modernized it a lot. And bringing back the barbed wire was a nice little touch as well. I think it works on this design. His tank mode is really well designed as well. We've got a good sketch of it here. I know he'd be against it now, but all hail Megatron. Alright, last one from the comics is Megatron as a human. Now, I don't know the context behind this. I don't know why Megatron would choose to be human.
Not for the fashion sense, I can tell you that!
Gotta admit, not the worst humanoid transformer I've ever seen. I mean, this is just his avatar, and I gotta admit, yeah, I can imagine the comics Megatron looking like this. Now moving on to toys, and one of my favorites is the classic Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime. I actually wish I owned this as a kid. I remember just looking at toy reviews non-stop of this guy, and one day I'll own it. It's just sort of a unified modern day Generation 1 Prime, and I just think it looks really cool. Definitely not cool or modern is the Infobar Optimus Prime. I guess cell service is the right of all sentient beings? Whatever. Here's a lunar cruiser of Optimus Prime. Yeah, I mean, it looks alright.
It is not a bad idea.
I remember when my dad first got us a PlayStation and it transformed into Optimus Prime. I was so mad I couldn't play Crash Bandicoot. Have you ever wanted Prime as a power bank? At this rate, they'll make anything Optimus Prime. Like a shoe.
Way to be incognito.
Question, can you actually wear this? Second, why would you wear this? Do you think someone made Peter Cullen sign this? Moving on to video games, we have one of my favourite Optimus Prime designs of all time. It is the High Moon Studios' War for Cybertron. I was over the moon when this design came back with the Studio Series Gamer Edition, and I think they nailed it. Well, for the most part, I had to get the upgrade kit, but still, regardless, it's fantastic. This, to me, is the definitive Cybertronian mode of Optimus Prime. I know some people prefer Fall of Cybertron, but to me, this is top tier. Of course, as you're playing the game, you're always going to be seeing the back of the character, and I just loved his parts moving at the back with the Autobot insignia. Such a great attention to detail. It's also underneath his vehicle mode. Even though that's my favourite, I do like the Fall of Cybertron design. The mass is still the same, but it's shaped so differently. It was never explained why his design changed, but I can imagine it's just to make him more tougher. His armour looks more battle ready. Not only is he battle ready, but he's rock ready with the Knights of Unicron. Yeah, I absolutely hate this. It's way too loud.
Yeah! My audio receptors. What is that noise? Decrease volume. Shut up!
If you pre-ordered Fall of Cybertron, you could get a G1 Optimus Prime, and I really do like this. It kind of reminds me of the original Masterpiece toy. And when it comes to High Moon's Megatron, I gotta say this design is amazing. I love everything about this. It's just badass. I was so excited and a little disappointed with the recent new figure in the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition line, because it really does deserve a better toy. This design is impeccable. I love how the shoulders are so different from each other, and the tank mode, I love how it feels in gameplay as well. Such an underrated design that I really want to see more of in the future, or at least something similar like it. This is definitely Megatron in his prime. All hail Megatron.
I am the Dominator. I am the Destroyer. I am Megatron!
Next up is the sequel, Fall of Cybertron, where Megatron gets himself an upgrade, and I gotta say, I like the War for Cybertron better.
Never improve upon perfection, Soundwave.
Now don't get me wrong, I do like it, I think it's a unique design to Megatron, but when you just compare it to War for Cybertron, there's just no competition with me, and I've always been a bit hit or miss with how pointy his chest is in the middle there. And I guess they've sort of taken inspiration from Transformers Prime because I can see the similarities there. The tank mode has a nice upgrade as well, but I kind of wish he transformed into a jet this time. We already had a tank in War for Cybertron, and I was just hoping, gameplay wise, something different. He's like a Dark Energon light bulb now, like there's just highlights all over the place, and I do dig it, but it's very extreme.
Silence!
Look, I still like it, I just won't put it in all hail. Sorry, Megatron.
No! I will not be denied!
In Devastation, you could play as the G1 cartoon Optimus Prime, which is basically just G1, but it's in a game. Now let's talk about the video game that sadly didn't get the chance to shine. It is the Universe MMO. This is based on the Prime universe. You could say this design is basically just Transformers Prime, just tweaked ever so slightly. Yes, the stylization is there, but they've tweaked enough to make it stand out on its own. It's Transformers Prime Optimus, but a bit more edgy, if that makes sense. Like, he looks more aggressive, or even cyberpunky-like. Not so bad looking is the Earth Wars Optimus Prime. Yeah, it's alright. The vehicle mode stands out more than the robot mode. I do like the wheels on the arms, that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, that's it really. Now we're going to talk about the Combiner Wars Optimus Prime, where this design got highlighted in a couple of games and it did the design so much more justice than the original toy, because the toy to me just looks so flat looking. Like those arms, they just look like monkey arms. Forged to Fight looks pretty cool, but without a doubt the best one has got to be the Chinese online game. He looks like a badass now. Now we have a Transformers game that was unfortunately cancelled. It is the Heavy Metal game. We do have some concept art of what this Optimus Prime could have looked like. It's like the evergreen Optimus Prime design, but just jacked up, because if you look at this guy, he is heavy metal. Now this 3D model that you see was done by Kelsey Martin on ArtStation, just giving us a good idea of what this could have looked like if it didn't get cancelled. And it's a shame too, because I would have loved to have played it. A game I would also love to play is Transformers Reactivate, because Optimus Prime looks so awesome in this. This is post-apocalyptic Optimus Prime, where he's taking on, I don't know, Quintesson zombies or whatever it's going to throw at us. And what's so bizarre is that we've gotten the toy of this already. I guess Hasbro was like, right, we can't wait any longer. We've got these toys ready to ship, so here you go, guys. And it's a good toy. Everybody responded pretty well to this, which is why it's such a shame that Reactivate got cancelled. God damn it. What I don't want to play as is the Titanfall Optimus Prime. Yeah, remember when this happened? It literally looks like a toddler cosplaying as Optimus Prime.
He was mine.
Okay, now something better. We have the Overwatch Optimus Prime. This was fairly recent. This is a skin, so this is the Reinhardt Optimus Prime. I don't play Overwatch, guys, so I don't know. All I see is this cool looking design in both anime form and gameplay, even though the head reminds me more of Soundwave than Optimus Prime. I may not play Overwatch, but I do like its art style, and I think Transformers really works in this setting. What doesn't work is the Battle Masters Optimus Prime. At least with this one, you can tell it's supposed to be Optimus Prime. Next up is Transformers Devastation. Originally I wasn't going to include it, but then I realised he actually transforms into a tank. So it's basically just G1, but a bit more bulkier, just a little bit, and he turns into a tank. Yeah, it's cool. It's probably what Megatron should have transformed into back in G1. And I would have waited an eternity for it. Next up we're talking about Earth Wars Megatron, but I'm also counting it as Combiner Wars Megatron because it's basically the same. We saw this earlier with the Armada deco. I just don't like this. I just feel like it's not got any real meat to it. It's just weirdly proportioned. Doesn't strike me as menacing, so it's merely a cheap imitation. Now what is menacing is the Transformers Universe MMO Megatron. This was a cancelled game unfortunately, but the design slaps really hard. This Megatron is so badass looking. It's a shame that this game never reached its full potential. I hope that Legacy does like a toy of this design because I think it really works. I'd love to see all of the Universe MMO designs at least get made into some toys. It's a great revision of a Transformers Prime design. Like, I love that the cannon of the tank is on the back of him, like the way how that fits in, just the insane detail. It's basically just what if Transformers Prime Megatron had an Earth mode. Kinda makes you wish he wasn't so arrogant with all that pride that he had about not having an Earth mode, like he would have looked 10 times cooler with it. This is definitely all hail Megatron. Next up is Forged to Fight, and this is very similar to the comics, the Robots in Disguise one. It's a very modernized Generation 1 Megatron, and I think it works in gameplay. The animation looks really cool. It's just basically an updated, modernized version of G1. But an even better modernized version of Generation 1 Megatron is from the Chinese game. Now yes, you can only play this game in China, but I gotta say the designs for this game slap really hard. They've done so many great, amazing designs, taking both inspiration from the movies and just unique designs of their own, and this one is definitely one of them. Again, like I said with the Transformers Universe MMO Megatron, we need toys out of these designs, they're just so goddamn cool. What's not goddamn cool is the Battle Masters Megatron.
You disgust me.
Now let's talk about the Angry Birds one, which is 10 times better.
Impossible.
Yeah, I just complimented Angry Birds.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Yeah, you may have noticed if you've been watching my previous videos that I've been slowly coming around to the Angry Bird designs. I have a fresh perspective on it. While I still find the combination really jarring, it is in some ways very appealing. You've just got to sit back, relax, and don't take life so seriously, and have fun. And that's what this guy seems to be doing, he just seems to be having fun. Yes, it's just Prime's body with a bird for a face, but heck, it's entertaining. Yes, I guess this is my redemption arc.
Perfect.
Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Angry Birds Megatron.
You are awash in that repulsive scent. Disgusting.
Alright, now we've got Fortnite Megatron.
This is getting ridiculous.
Look, I'm gonna be honest, I know absolutely nothing about Fortnite. I've only played the game like once or twice, and my sister's worked hard to get almost every Transformers character in this game just for me, and you know what, it's fine, it serves its purpose. It's basically the Cyberverse / Evergreen Megatron. It looks less humanoid than the Bumblebee one. This is the best one out of all of them as far as I can tell. I might regret this, but I'm gonna put this in the middle tier. Any further objections? Okay, never mind, let's move on. And another thing I would have waited an eternity for is the Transformers Reactivate Megatron. Now this is very similar to the Bumblebee movie Megatron. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit different when it came to this game. You know, it's like you're just seeing the same thing twice. I do like it, of course. The patterns is just so cool, and that tank mode as well, it's just so badass, and that cannon, that arm cannon looks really nice. But if you had to compare this with the B-movie Megatron, I would choose the B-movie Megatron. So this one gets the second lowest tier.
Unbelievable!
Okay, because I forgot to include it in my original video, we're going to talk about My Little Pony Optimus Prime, and just why?
Soundwave, play my favorite song.
My Little Pony.
Good stuff.
Well, at least Megatron likes it. Now let's move on to the Align continuity, and we'll talk about the first initial design idea for Optimus Prime. This is designed by Ken Christensen, and this is my favorite Optimus Prime design of all time. I'm so good we never got to see this in like animation form or anything like that, because it's got elements from previous Primes that I think just works all as one. The feet and the proportions give me Armada Optimus Prime vibes, and I love the wheels integrated on top of his chest. I like his vehicle mode as well, of course very similar to the eventual Transformers Prime design. Yeah, I just love this so much. I hope that someday, you know, we can get a design similar to this in a cartoon. But I'm not going to argue with the Optimus Prime that we got in Transformers Prime, because I love this art style, like the way how it's stylized, the proportions, it's so cool.
Where's Optimus?
On a scouting mission with Bumblebee. Sorry to disappoint.
And I wore heels and everything.
Mom!
For every generation, there's an Optimus Prime that you grew up with, and while I grew up with Armada, a little bit of Energon and Cybertron Optimus Prime, if Transformers Animated got me back into the franchise, Transformers Prime is the reason that I stayed. I remember seeking out that first edition Optimus Prime because I just was so impressed with this. A toy I wouldn't seek out is the McDonald's Optimus Prime. Poor guy. Prime received one hell of an upgrade in Season 3's Beast Hunters with this new robust form. I've seen a lot of people criticize this design, but for me personally, I really dig this. This would begin the arc of him just looking massive all the time. Good luck trying to get rid of those stains off your face, Prime. I'm sorry guys, but most of the time, I like him big and chunky. This version, however, was ruined when it came to the official toy. I owned this and I was always confused why it didn't look more like the show, until I found out that this toy was spot on to how it looked in the Japanese series, Transformers Go. So I'm not quite sure what happened behind the scenes. Regardless, the version in Transformers Prime is superior. And while we're on the subject of Transformers Go, we'll talk about his second form, the Optimus X Prime, where he transforms into a train and a dragon. So yeah, we've got a triple change Optimus Prime, which is a neat concept, but this fell flat for me. I don't like this. I don't really know why he's turning into a train. The dragon part is kind of cool, but this falls flat for me. Yeah, I really don't like this toy. We did get to see a few Cybertronian modes of this Optimus Prime, one official and two concept ideas. I like the concept ideas more than the final version, but if I had to pick, I'd go with concept 1. Now let's talk about Megatron's initial design in the Align continuity, this being in the Covenant of Primus 2. This is okay. I like it. I'm not the biggest fan of the face. The face definitely needed a little bit more work. The gun is a little bit too thin for me, but I do like it. It's just very beastie looking. You can see he's got like sort of bat wings or something like that. Like, I don't want to be too harsh to it, but it's just not as good as the Optimus Prime from the Covenant of Primus. But I will say I do like the treads throughout the legs. That's pretty neat. I'll put it in the middle, considering I'm indifferent about it. Now let's talk about Transformers Prime Megatron. I really do love this design. I love those eyebrows. You can't go wrong with those giant eyebrows there. This is such a great revision from the 2007 Megatron. They took what Transformers Animated did and just tweaked it a little bit more. This Megatron had too much pride. He didn't want to have an Earth mode. He just wanted to keep true to his Cybertronian form. So this is how he looked throughout the entire show. I really like his jet mode, even though his head is like just popping out like that.
In any room of the house.
Jet, robot! Jet, robot!
That head design is amazing. The shoulder pads so sharp. Like, I do like it, even though I know a lot of people really don't like it. But come on, this is all hail Megatron, obviously.
Yes!
But I definitely won't all hail to any of these Megatrons.
What?
The Dark Energon one is just generic looking. It's fine, it's cool, but it's just generic. And then the Sharkticon Megatron is by far the weirdest one out of them all. Like, I don't know what the toy designers were thinking. Why was this necessary? Was there going to be a storyline where Megatron turns into a Sharkticon? The Sharkticon one can definitely go in disgusting, and as for the Dark Energon one, look, it's fine, but it's not great. Sorry Megatron, but you don't win this time. Okay, now let's talk about his upgrade in Predacron's Rising, which they refused to name Galvatron. I know it's Unicron, but this was Megatron in the end. I do like it. I know a lot of people don't. It's not the worst upgrade. I definitely do like the horns. You know, it's definitely more Unicron vibey. I just wish they would have renamed it as Galvatron. But of course, for the story, it didn't make any sense. Look, it really is not all that bad. I would have waited an eternity for this.
And that is final.
Moving on to the sequel series, Robots in Disguise, Optimus Prime has a lot of designs in this show. I favour his Season 1 design. Yes, I know his legs are absolutely enormous, but I always wanted the Takara Adventure Optimus Prime toy that's like a leader class. It's a shame it never made its way to the Western market. They even made a toy in his Supreme mode where he got upgraded by the Primes, and it's okay, I do like the black and white combination, but his shoulders are so friggin' huge. It looks like he struggles to move around more than he did with his Beast Hunters mode. Towards the end of the series, they got rid of the black and white colour scheme, and you know what, I'm kind of missing it, to be honest. Something about the design now feels empty.
Autobots, roll!
What also feels empty is his Power Surge mode, where he upgrades with a Minicon, and it's fine, it served its purpose in the show, but this feels so gimmicky, where you miss the days of the Unicron Trilogy. Accompanied with the RID line are tiny titans, just little tiny figures with a bio card of a G1 style transformer, and we got one of Optimus Prime, and yeah, it looks nice. I mean, I wouldn't have liked to have seen this in the show, and it's fine. It reminds me of an adult version of the Rescue Bots Optimus Prime, which serves its purpose as a junior version. He's harmless, he's just trying to educate young kids. I can't imagine anyone being mad at this design, but I can imagine people being mad that he transformed into a T-Rex. He just wanted to know what it'd be like being Grimlock.
Is that cool?
No, Prime, it's not cool. You've upset the fandom again. But hey, I'll take this over the Play School Optimus Prime any day. The same can be said for the Rescue Bots Academy Optimus Prime. It's basically Cyberverse until you get to the head. Oh my god, where's his eyebrows?
Take off his head.
I don't want kids growing up thinking Optimus Prime doesn't have eyebrows. Okay, he didn't to begin with, but at least it wasn't jarring. Definitely jarring is the bare brick Optimus Prime. Please, someone shoot it. Next up we have Robots in Disguise, the sequel to Optimus Prime. Now he didn't actually appear in the show unfortunately, but we do have concept art, and I do dig it. It's kind of plain in some areas. It's basically just more of a toned down version of his original design from Optimus Prime. It really strips away all of the Unicron elements from Predacons Rising. I would have probably changed the colours just a little bit. More interestingly, right next to him we have the Tiny Titans Megatron. This was just a small little sub toy line, and they just created artwork. We had a bunch of G1 modernized artwork, but this was actually pretty unique because we all assumed this is how Megatron was going to look in the show. Very different compared to the concept art version. I do like the combination of colours, but the spirit doesn't really give me Megatron vibes. This feels more like, I don't know, one of Unicron's other disciples or something. It's fine, it's neat, but I don't know. I guess we'll never know what this design was really meant to be. I don't really know what to do with these guys, so I'm going to put them both in the middle tier. Not only does he transform into a truck, but he also transforms into a pen. Is this video done yet? No, because we have to talk about the USB Optimus Prime. Insert wisdom into your computer. Definitely no wisdom is the Constructor Bots Optimus Prime. I've actually complimented a couple of these, but this Optimus Prime one, I just don't like. It looks so ugly looking.
Not cool.
Not so ugly looking are the Creo Optimus Primes. The basic one is fine, but the one where it looks like puberty stopped, yeah, that's bad.
I'm gonna tear them apart.
Not that bad though is the fully buildable one, which I actually really like this one. It's like the Movieverse, but just like cleaner looking. I guess it's more impressive than appealing. But many years later, LEGO would do a G1 version where, yeah, okay, this is exactly what fans wanted. What fans definitely don't want are these guys. Yeah, just crush them with your foot.
Oops, sorry, my bad.
Add these two maggots to the list as well.
I can think of no better place to bury you.
Alright, now let's talk about the Creo Megatrons. We've got our generic Generation 1, which is fine. But then we've got a mix of samurai, ninja, cowboy, knight. So bizarre. These little guys are just weird looking. And they're so boring as well.
Bah, then they really are poorly designed.
Well, the last Creo we've got is a less ridiculous one, I guess. Very much resembling Dark of the Moon Megatron. It's fine. It's if you like these kind of builder figures, you know, you're going to get a lot of fun out of this. I just think he needs a lot more muscle on him, so I'm going to put this in merely a cheap imitation. Now let's move on to the live action movies with Bayverse Optimus Prime.
You a-holes are in trouble now. Gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my friend, Optimus Prime.
Look, I am an avid defender of this Optimus Prime. I'm a fan of the Flames. I think it works for Michael Bay, and I think it works for the live-action movies. Yes, I can imagine how jarring it must have been in 2007 to see Optimus Prime like this, but the early concepts were really, really bad. This is definitely what the franchise needed in 2007, and I don't think some fans realise that. And yes, there's a lot of subject matter to talk about, like the toes, for example. I know people aren't a big fan of those. The head design is just absolutely gorgeous. The amount of detail that has been put into this Optimus Prime. Whether you love him or you hate him, you can't deny that he defined a generation. And still, to this day, the Revenge of a Fallen Leader class Optimus Prime is one of my favourite toys of all time. And the rib cages that were added in Dark of the Moon was also a nice touch. I'll include it because I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of him. Yeah, we'll briefly mention the protoform version, which is just ugly looking, this exoskeleton. It serves its purpose in the movie, but they still could have done something really creative with this. Bayverse got himself a couple of upgrades. He got the dead body of Jetfire slabbered all over him. I mean, it's badass, it's cool in the film, you know, it just brought me back to the days of Armada. Granted, I just kind of wish Jetfire was alive, but still, he looks so cool, and his head is so tiny. If you thought Beast Hunters was bad, have you seen this? Now there were other ideas for an upgraded Optimus Prime, and yeah, I prefer the Jetfire combination. This just looks so cluttered, so muddled, I hate it. They toned it down and made it just right when it came to Jetwing Optimus Prime in Dark of the Moon. What a great way to incorporate the trailer. Bayverse Prime briefly went G1 as this dirty truck, and honestly I was so disappointed when I saw this because his robot mode should be different. It's basically just how he was originally, but with a different chest. Except from the chest, it makes no sense for his vehicle mode, and we spent quite a lot of time with this design as well, so they could have done something different. It's just a simple case of they couldn't be arsed. But talking about his upgraded mode in Age of Extinction, and it's all boobies. Okay, I know a lot of people don't like this design, and I have definitely criticized this design in the past, and while I still, to this day, don't like the fact that there are just not enough vehicle parts on this design, it still looks cool. Like, it is cool, but as a transforming robot, it's just, that's what takes me out of it. I wouldn't change all that much, I would just redesign it just a little bit.
We're not your technology.
You know, I do like the way it's styled, I do like the proportions, I think it is badass, especially when you see it in action in the film, but it's like, we only saw him transform once. You fool! And the only time we saw him transform from robot to vehicle was in a commercial for Direct Line.
Go on a road trip. Road trip.
And even that cut away before you saw the full transformation. He was only in his vehicle mode once in The Last Night. Just like a reminder like, oh, this guy transforms by the way. Only third parties have been able to figure out how to make this look screen accurate. I mean, we're still waiting on Hasbro, like, come on, where's that studio series? See, the thing is, I am a fan of Medieval Knights, like, I am into that, but I just don't think it belongs in the world of Transformers. So, I'm sorry guys, I just don't think it belongs in the top tier.
Autobots, I have sworn to never kill humans. Big mistake. He's going to die.
But whatever Cam, stop complaining. We finally got the Optimus Prime, at least what I wanted, in the Bumblebee movie. That Cybertron scene is one of my favourite sequences in the entire live action movies. And seeing G1 fully realised, modernised in a live action setting, see, it can be done. And this was done with such justice. It remains one of my favourite live action movie designs, period. There is a little gripe with it where it literally looks like an Earth truck, you know, and it's supposed to be Cybertronian. Like, oh, those shoulders and wheels are going to make a huge difference. Yeah, I'm going to unify both the Earth mode and Cybertronian mode because honestly, it's the same thing, just slightly altered. Sometimes as Transformers fans, we just have to pluck out the logic out of our brain and just enjoy it. But a design a lot of people didn't enjoy is the Rise of Beast Optimus Prime.
You brought a human here?
And look, I can understand the criticism. A lot of colour was taken away with this Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. It's like the love child of the first Bayverse design with the Bumblebee design. And I just think it looks fine. Like, it looks okay. You know, I'm glad we've got this. I own the Yellow Park, so I am a fan of this. I'm glad that we've got G1. You know, it's set in the 90s, so you know, he's still able to have that truck mode. I do wish there was a lot of colour on his torso, especially his hands. Like, I just wish they were blue. Like, come on, why does he not have blue hands anymore? But it's just a gripe, and that's all it is. It's fine, it served its purpose, it looked cool in the film. Okay, do I have to talk about Fortnite? Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime? That's all it is, it's just Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, but it looks like a dude's just got a really good costume on. I mean, my sister worked hard to get this unlocked for me just to play it for a couple of hours, so it's worth a mention. But I'm hoping with the sequel, the Transformers and G.I. Joe movie, they take the concept designs for Rise of the Beast and make them part of this film. Like, look at this concept art here. Look how buff and bulky Optimus Prime is. This is what fans were expecting, something different. And we actually got a toy of this as well, so this was almost close to being the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, but it was just changed last minute, I assume. But regardless, this looks cool. This is something I want to see. I want a bit more robustness to my Optimus Prime. Just don't always overdo it. One of the main concept artists for Bayverse was Josh Nizzi, and he came up with several different ideas of a live-action Optimus Prime. And these are just incredible. It's really hard to pick which one you like to see in the movies. I'd just like to see all of them in the movies. He came up with more jacked up versions of Optimus Prime, with the superior Optimus Prime looking so dope. And then we have his Power Master Optimus Prime, which puts Jet Optimus to shame. And we've got more statues on the way, with premium collectibles just basically taking Bumblebee Optimus and just injecting him with some steroids. A lot more cleaner of a design, and actually something I'd like to see in the movies at some point. But that's a problem with us Transformers fans, we're just too greedy. Alright, now let's finally talk about Megatron from the live action films. First up is the early head design of Megatron for the 2007 film. So yeah, Megatron's head had a massive revision because fans were just against it that much, and I can agree. One thing I said in my old Megatron tier list is that Megatron's design from 2007 feels alien, and a lot of people was like, well, yeah, he is an alien, but I'm talking about alien from the movie Alien. Like, it doesn't resemble a Transformer to me, and it doesn't resemble a Transformer to me, and this was a drastic change from what we were used to. Now that can go in disgusting, but as for the finalized 2007 design, I've kind of grown with this design over the years. I think the head just makes it look a lot better. Like, I really dig the Masterpiece toy, I really want to get my hands on it, but I can't deny that his future designs just got 10 times better. And like we've discussed, that this design has had major revisions in other continuities, like with Transformers Animated and then Transformers Prime. They just took that design and they just cleaned it up and made it look more like a Transformer. So I'm probably going to regret this. I know a lot of people like it, but I know a lot of people don't as well, so I'm going to put it in the middle. Any further objections?
Oh, so unwise. I'll kill you.
Now let's talk about Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. I absolutely love this new design. The upgrade, it's just what Megatron needed. You can tell he actually transforms as well. Even though it's not on Earth mode, yes, it's still alien, but still, it's a big improvement over 2007. And I don't know why, this is just when Megatron peaked for me. He's just like that combination of Cybertronian, yet still resembling somewhat of a Transformer at the same time, and that claw. I don't know why, but I just love that massive claw. I love playing as him in the Revenge of the Fallen game, and yeah, I just think this was the best live-action Megatron design that we got in the Michael Bay era. Definitely belongs in All Hail Megatron. Megatron finally got an Earth mode in Dark of the Moon, but unfortunately it was a disgusting truck. He's trying to be Mad Max, and it's not working.
Master, how it pains me to see you so wounded, so weak.
Spare me, you gaseous sycophant.
Even though he's like pathetic and ugly now, I actually do kind of dig this design. I love this broken Megatron. I don't think it's the best, but I like that it can actually transform now into an Earth mode, even if it is, you know, a disgusting Earth mode. While I do like the chains on the chest, I wish there was just something more to his chest design, like, I don't know, he had like windows on his chest or something.
You dare lecture me, slave?
I do like him, I just like Revenge of the Fallen better, so I don't think I can put him in All Hail.
You are either lying or you're stupid!
I'm stupid!
Next up is The Last Night, and this is going to be a controversial opinion, but I really don't like this design all that much.
What?
Look, don't get me wrong, it is a solid design, but you can't really tell either what this is supposed to transform into. Originally, it was supposed to have transformed into a dragon until they changed it at the last minute, and now he's this jet. But you look at that transformation, and it's just how? How is that possible? I do dig the head design. I just wish they kept the original head from the trilogy and just put that mask over that. Like, that looks actually pretty cool. And that mark on his face, it just kind of ruins the design a bit. But it's the only thing that really adds colour to it. Now I know that's Quintessa's mark and it would have disappeared. And even though the previous Megatron designs was kind of all just this greyish colour. But on this design, I really do like the metallic tint. It really just shines and pops out a lot more. While it's not my favourite and I think it's overhyped a lot, I do like it. It's different. It's unique. At the time, it was the closest thing we ever got to resembling Generation 1. And heck, his head design's got a tattoo from his original 2007 design. I might have to put this in the second tier.
No! I'll crush you with my bare hands!
Oh, okay, fine. All hail Megatron. Next up is the Prime 1 Studios Superior Megatron design by Josh Nizzi. Now I imagine that Josh wanted Megatron to look like this in the live action films, and honestly I can agree with him. This is an absolute badass design. This is basically what fans I imagine would have wanted from 2007. He's so beefy and bulky and so menacing, and I like the on his back as well, it's like a sort of cape, there's like these dreads on the back of him. I would be against that, but it actually works for this design, it makes him look way more terrifying. And I'll throw in some more officially licensed statues. We have the XM Studios and the other Prime 1 Studios Megatron. Both are great contenders to be in the live action films. I kind of like the XM Studios one a lot more. I kind of imagine that's how he would have actually looked if he was so G1 inspired. Like, I would have loved to have seen any one of these in the Bumblebee movie, but after a long wait, we finally know what Megatron would have looked like in the Bumblebee movie. Yep, they have just released a toy based on concept art. As with the Cybertron scene, we had all of our favourite Autobots and Decepticons resembling their G1 counterparts, and one thing fans were wondering was where was Megatron and what would he have looked like? In a deleted scene, we would have seen Megatron frozen at Sector 7 with this design. And Hasbro didn't want that design to go to waste, so they've now decided to make Studio Series toys based on unused concept art. I've pre-ordered it and it looks absolutely amazing. I love everything about this design. I love the chest, the torso, the cannon, the head design. The only thing I would slightly change is the face design around the eyes. I just wish that was toned down a bit. Sadly, it's been pointed out to me that he has a mustache like Waluigi. Thanks for that, Rayception. An extra bonus as well is that he's a triple changer. I really like the tank mode. The jet mode is probably the least favoured one, but I still think it works. Of course, this goes in All Hail Megatron. Now let's talk about the Evergreen and Cyberverse design. We briefly talked about this with Rescue Bots Academy. Those proportions were so crazy here, but these are just right. This is Hasbro's sort of like standard design of Optimus Prime. You see this a lot in marketing and promotional stuff. But yeah, I like it, it's cool. He's also got some sweet moves. During the fight with Megatron, he got a massive upgrade with the power of the EarthSpark, and yeah, it's all a gimmick to sell toys, but for this, it felt out of place in Cyberverse. I almost forgot to include it because it was just forgettable. It's not quite as forgettable as the 2015 BotCon General Optimus Prime. This is inspired from the cancelled toy from the Generation 2 line. It's a redeco of Decepticon Auto Roller. It was in a promotional catalogue, but never saw the light of day. Just giving justice to a toy that I don't think anybody wanted anyway. Another toy I don't think anybody wanted was the Titans Return Optimus Prime. Yeah, this also got a redeco in the Street Fighter 2 colours. I kind of prefer the Ryu colours a little bit better. He's a jet and a truck, another triple change Optimus Prime, but this sucks.
This is a waste of time.
One of the greatest mysteries is why the bump of Chicken Optimus Prime exists. It was featured in the 40th anniversary special movie by Trigger. Yeah, Prime, stay away from the M&Ms. Moving on to Netflix's War for Cybertron trilogy, we have this Cybertronian mode in Siege, and I'm just not vibing with this, guys. I mean, for me, we've just had so many unique Cybertronian modes. When you compare it to this, it's just not good enough for me. You can tell it's just the G1 mode, but just with extra parts on it to make it look alien. I'm not a fan of his backpack or his arms.
Now, tell me you forgive me.
Some could argue and say that the Earthrise Optimus Prime is superior, and you'd be right because it's just G1 Prime but modernized. I got more excited when it came to the homage to the Cybertron Optimus. Like, why wasn't this his Cybertronian mode? It just would have been perfect. I get why he was made just to pay homage to Cybertron, but still. Okay, now we have Megatron as a rocker from the Knights of Unicron. Yep, this is just War for Cybertron Megatron with, yeah, this is just awful. This is terrible.
Yeah! Stop, Soundwave. Turn it off. I can still hear it pounding in my brain.
Alright, now let's talk about some obscure toys, and first up is Titans Return. Now we have technically two versions because we have this toy, which had this whole headmaster gimmick, and then we have just how he looked in the show. And how he looks in the show is basically just G1. There's nothing significant or new here, but Titans Return, slightly different. The only thing I like about it is the fact it's a triple changer. Like, that's the only good thing about this, but the actual robot mode, it's just a Blitzwing copy, but at least it got the barbed wire on it. Next up is Titanium Cybertron Heroes Megatron. This is very much like Megatron being an Energon miner again. It's just a small little statue. I mean, it's fine, it's got some nice detail on it, but yeah, we should have probably had a figure of this. Unfortunately, next up is Botshot's Megatron. Something a little bit better is the Q Megatron.
Good stuff.
Not so much better is the Constructobots Megatron. Yeah, this was just sort of a phase in the Transformers that people don't really talk about, and it's strange because all of the Constructobots videos on YouTube have like millions of views, and I don't know, it's just not appealing to me. I do kind of dig the vehicle mode, however. I wish that more Transformers would adopt the buggy kind of mode. You know, we don't really see that a lot. I know there's a lot of people that like the Constructobots line, but I don't really see a lot of people talk about it anymore. So, I don't know, it's just fine, it's whatever. I imagine playability-wise, it's a lot of fun. Alright, let's do a quick fire round and get all of these maggots out of the way. We've got a Bouncy Ball Megatron, a QT1 Megatron, and I don't even know what this thing is.
Join them in extinction!
And then we have this abomination, the Fool's Paradise League of Steel Megatron.
You've hit rock bottom.
Quick, let's move on to something quick. We have Cyberverse Megatron, we have his main design, and then we have Megatron X, which is from a different timeline, and then his big upgrade that he got from the power of the EarthSpark. Now, I dig all of these designs, they're obviously based on the Evergreen design, which I'll throw in as well. I would say my favourite one out of all of these is perhaps the massive upgrade he gets. It's just so over the top and extreme, but I like that it's a helicopter as well. He's got so many power-ups and abilities, and it's a shame it only appeared for one episode, but I do dig it. Megatron X is pretty alright, they do some small changes. This is just a timeline where Megatron basically won. I kind of wish there were some alternate body parts just to make him stand out a little bit more from his main design. But his main design is good. I do like the art style, both 2D and 3D. I just don't think it belongs in All Hail.
You're either lying or you're malfunctioning! You imbecile! You have failed me for the last time. Fool!
Alright, fine, I'll put him in All Hail Megatron, along with his upgrade as well, but Megatron X, I wouldn't have waited an eternity for that. Alright, now let's talk about the War for Cybertron Trilogy Megatron. This is basically a modernized version of G1, except he transforms into a tank, and it's more apparent that he transforms into a tank now. This is definitely the War Megatron. I actually like his design more than Optimus Prime's. Like, I actually really did enjoy it in the show, even though those lips, man, those are mega lips, I tell you right now. So yeah, I do like it, but I don't think it's as great as people say it is. Another thing that I don't think is all that great is the G.I. Joe retool they did of it. It's basically just the same toy, but with G.I. Joe parts, and it looks terrible.
I did nothing!
Oh, for Spark's sake.
That's merely a cheap imitation. What's not a cheap imitation is the MDLX Megatron. I really, really dig this modernized, more robust sort of version of Megatron. I want to own this. I have the Bumblebee MDLX and I really want this one as well. Lately we've had a lot of G1 Megatrons being revised and modernized in all sorts of different styles, and it's been kind of oversaturated a bit, but this one I really do dig. It's unique enough to change parts while still being obviously familiar at the same time. Like the other Megatrons I put in the second tier, they're just not as unique as this one. And what's definitely not unique are these two product placement Megatrons.
Why throw away your life so recklessly?
And the worst one of them all is the Nike Megatron. Yeah, whoever wanted Megatron as a shoe. But if you thought that was bad, we've got the Bare Brick Megatron.
That's not it? How humiliating!
Alright, the last obscure one we have is Family Guy Megatron. Come on, I can't put him in the highest tier.
Tell him, Megatron. Do as I command!
Okay, jeez.
Nope, sorry, it's merely a cheap imitation. If you want big and bulky, look no further than the League of Steel Optimus Prime. If you own this, do let us know in the comments. Then question yourself why you own this.
You have disgraced it.
The same goes for the Go-Kart Optimus Prime. When scanning in alt mode goes terribly wrong.
No!
At least he got it right when it came to the EarthSpark Optimus Prime. Right?
Laugh, then cool pose. Oh. Ha ha ha!
Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with this design. When I first saw it, I was completely taken aback by it. I was like, wow, this looks kind of jarring. Those rib cages.
You humans have a saying. When life gives you lemonade, make lemons. Point is,
I always thought my issue was just the ghost insignia, but then as soon as you got rid of that, it was like, okay, I still have some issues with it. It's still strange that I was one of the first people to showcase this design when I saw it on the wall in my local toy store. I gotta say, his vehicle mode took some getting used to. And yes, his face can sometimes be nightmare fuel, but he's also funny.
this is Robbie and Mo. Stand down, Mr.
Mandroid!
Mr. Mandroid. That's not my...
What made me like this design over time was actually seeing it in action. I think it's just based on certain angles and just the way how it's animated. But hey, at least you can have him on your finger. Ugh.
I find it best to simply nod and mobilize.
Or you can have him on your wrist. Yeah, Optimus Prime, please tell me the time. They made a whole trailer for this.
I should have known better than to rely on humans.
Okay, now let's move on to EarthSpark Megatron.
You always knew how to make an entrance, Megs.
And I really love this design. It harkens back to Transformers Animated. He's a helicopter, and I love that he actually uses his helicopter mode in action in some scenes of the show. Yes, even though he's a good guy now, he's still terror in the skies, but honourable in the streets. I just hate that ghost symbol. It looks absolutely disgusting, and with the end of Season 1, I wonder what his badge is going to look like now. Is he actually going to have an Autobot logo, or is he going to keep his Decepticon logo? It's a great revision. I've been wanting something similar to Transformers Animated, and yeah, I just can't wait for more Transformers EarthSpark Megatron. Definitely, all hail Megatron. We have the Flame Toys Optimus Prime. These look cool. Yeah, I don't care if they don't transform. It's so anime-like. I love it. Before we talk about Orion Pax and Transformers 1, let's look back at the previous Orion Pax designs, and you really can't get an Orion Pax design wrong. The only one that I don't really like is perhaps the Titan's Return one, mostly because that's a remold of Cup. But everyone else looks pretty cool, like Transformers Prime Orion Pax looks really nice. You know, the more modernized, revised versions of Orion Pax are really cool. I liked how it looked in Generation 1, you know. Like I said, you can't get an Orion Pax design wrong, unless if you're Titan's Return.
Yesterday's model, ready for the scrap heap.
Now I'm going to talk about Orion Pax and D16 together in Transformers 1 because I think it's fitting. You know, the design evolution in this film was just amazing to watch. I loved the cogless state. You can just see, like, as the characters are, you know, they're empty inside and destined for something more. You know, of course, they're just cogless miners in the film, but then when they finally get their cogs from Alpha Trion, watching their design evolve was just amazing. I love Prime's chest. I like Megatron's chest, especially the shoulders. I love how there's still a little bit of innocence left in Megatron, or sorry, D16 in his design, but then when he does become Megatron, you know, there's red eyes, you've got his chest that's become more angular and sharper, like his shoulders are a lot more tough, and Optimus Prime just becomes a lot more braver. You know, his design evolves in the warrior that he knows that he can be. You know, he is destined to be a leader, and this design just strikes as a leader. I love everything about this. The chest, a great, of course, callback to Generation 1, but also taking in the modern era of Transformers as well. One thing I loved the most about D16's original design, his cogless mode, is the inspiration from that original G1 head design. They were going to go with a black head Megatron, but they decided not to, just made it all silver. Of course, it's based originally on that toy. I liked that they paid tribute to that. But yeah, no, these designs are amazing. Watching them in action, watching these two fight, you know, it was great just watching them be friends and then watching them be fight. You know, we got the best of both worlds, honestly. And yeah, the YOLO parks and all of the model kits that are out there just really do justice to these designs. Just incredible. Such a shame we're not getting a sequel, at least anytime soon, because I would love to see these designs again on the big screen. I do like their vehicle modes as well. Optimus Prime, the standard truck. I kind of would have loved something a little bit different, however, kind of similar to that High Moon Studios Optimus Prime. But when it comes to Megatron, I love the tank mode. Really perfect. I like how we can actually see that transformation in the film as well. Yeah, but even though I'm not a big fan of Optimus Prime's vehicle mode to 100%, it's still a banger. These are both great designs. Alright, now let's move on to... I hate that intro so much. Okay, I've got nothing against Cyberworld, but like I've said in the past, this show isn't for me, so I haven't been watching it. But when it comes to a design, Optimus Prime is as basic as it comes. I can't say I'm a big fan of the toy, but at least it looks slightly better in animation. That being said, Optimus Prime does have a second design that we briefly see in one episode, and it's okay. It's Beast Hunters-ish. But when it comes to Megatron, it's the only interesting design we've got because he's a bull now. Not sure why. I mean, it's interesting, it's new, it's different for Megatron, which is something that I've always wanted, something different. Yeah, like I said, this show's not for me, and this design, it's alright. I'll put them both in the middle tier. And now finally, for our last Megatron design, we have a Bishojo Megatron.
What in the name of the EarthSpark?
Yep, this is an officially licensed figure. Are you feeling confused right now?
She's everything I've always wanted.
I mean, I think the tie she's wearing is pretty cool. You know, I'm gonna be safe and put this in the middle. Any further objections?
She's not so hot.
She's hot enough to replace you whenever I choose.
And now finally, for our last Optimus Prime design, that definitely came from a different planet.
You're not gonna believe this.
No! Don't come near me, you monster!
It is the Bishojo Optimus. Yes, this is an officially licensed figure. I'm sure there's a lot of you that's feeling pretty confused right about now.
My curiosity is aroused.
I'm not. She looks cool, and it's detailed well, but this isn't for me. And there we have it, guys. Every Optimus Prime and Megatron design ranked.
No more! Grant me mercy, I beg of you!
If I had to go for a favourite, I guess High Moon's War for Cybertron or the Covenant of Primus. But I like all the Primes in the top row. And when it comes to Megatron, I'd have to go with High Moon as well. But at the same time, I love Transformers Animated and the concept art Megatron. Like, they're all my ideal versions of Megatron, the ones that truly live up to the name. Of course, let me know which is your personal favourite Optimus and Megatron design in the comment section below. And if you want to rank the designs yourself, you can follow the link in the description below to Tier List Maker. Thank you all for watching. I decided to make this video because I wanted to add Cyberworld and also update Transformers 1, so if you've watched up until this point, thank you very much. For more videos just like this, be sure to like because it helps the channel a lot, and be sure to click on that notification bell when you subscribe to get all updates instantly. Until the next video, I've been Comodin Cam, and goodbye.
Until all are one. Go, Cybertron! Land of the Metal Moon!